Confirmed. Twitch hates Canadians.
Confirmed. Twitch is just twitchy. And you named the AI on our ship after it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Hey,
way to go.
I think we're back. I think we're back. We're back. Are we?
Are we back? I don't see anything yet. Let me try. Maybe
Okay,
refresh.
because otherwise...
There we go.
Are we?
There we
Yes?
go. Yay!
No?
We're back. We're back. We're back.
Welcome, everyone. Yay. It's okay. Everything's fine. Everything is A-okay.
So, no, you notice that the gentleman behind the bar is some young kid. Maybe 16 at the oldest.
I'll go and take a stool. Excuse me, is Mr. Taggart around?
No, father. Can I get you something? I'm sorry.
I'll take a water.
What? Okay. And you see him just kind of get very frazzled. Ordering a water at this saloon has probably never happened in this young man's life, and he's not real prepared to deal with it. He starts looking every which way, but eventually runs towards the back of the bar and comes back with a glass and sets it down in front of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Father. I'm glad. Anything else? Can I help you with anything else?
I'm gonna let the father speak.
Is Mr. Taggart set to return soon?
I don't know. He had a conversation. He went to go have a conversation with the lady, you know the lady with the big house and the funeral and Mrs. Bradford, right? It's Mrs. Bradford. He was going to have a conversation with Mrs. Bradford.
Thank you very much, young man. You have been most helpful.
Thank you, Father. And you just see kind of like him, just like I was helpful. I'm proud of being helpful.
I'm gonna take a room then. I need a room.
Oh yeah, I can get you that. There's one more room upstairs because Dr. Thomas has got one and Dr. Ben's got one, and I can get you one. All right.
Does Maisie recognize this kid?
I mean, he's a local boy. You probably know him to see. His family is the Campbells. You may not. You're just old enough that you probably didn't attend classes with him, but you saw him around.
So he would know that she's like here all the time.
Yeah, you would probably know as Mickey You would know him as Mickey Campbell.
She would just, hey, Mickey, if you want, while you're helping this nice gentleman figure out his room and figure out everything, I can go make sure it's turned down properly. It seems like you could use an extra pair of hands.
And you just see him go, thank you.
I got it. Don't worry. I'll get head upstairs.
Okay. All right, then. I appreciate that. I do. And he turns back. Okay. And he goes and like reaches under the bar and pulls out this large ledger and just kind of sets it down on the bar. All right. I need you to flips through the bunch of pages. Put your name there.
And Maisie would check with the ledger, just to be like, oh, I just gotta see which room it is, and see which ones are filled, and see if she can find.
Well, there are only 4 rooms upstairs that you would know about. Well, there are a couple more, but the 4 main rooms. You know that Dr. Thomas always has room number 1. It's the large suite at the end of the hall. You know that the boy just told Mr. Whitaker that he could have room number 3. And then the only other room that's signed in by Dr. Benjamin Adams is room number 4.
Okay. I'll go make sure number 3 is turned down. And she'll head upstairs.
All right. I'm gonna wait down here for you. And I sign my name in the ledger, my actual real name, Cthulhu. No, I'm kidding. I sign Richard Whitaker.
You can write?
He's not an idiot. He's somewhat educated. He's just
He is.
socially
Sweet boy.
impaired.
He is infinitely socially impaired, but we love him.
He's a woodsman. He doesn't talk to people.
Very true. He you sign away. He turns to look at you, sees the name. All right, Mr. Whitaker. That's really nice. Can the doctor, the priest, and Mr. Whitaker roll me a spot hidden, please?
Maybe I can. Whoops. I used the wrong button, but it would be a critical without advantage in anything.
Father, are you gonna roll?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I just want to see who's got what. Success for the doctor and the priest. You notice Miss Taggart walking back in from the back side, coming in the side of the saloon. Richard notices something else, and it's not real surprising that Richard notices this. He's kind of dependent on this awareness for his livelihood. As you see Mr. Taggart walk in. You see Mr. Taggart start to walk up to the bar. And Mr. Whitaker apparently gets distracted and has to take a second and look again to it. We'll come back to that. Maisie, why don't we go upstairs?
Okay. So Maisie is going to just really quickly kind of stick her head in the room that Richard would be at to make sure it doesn't look like anything's off in there. And then head over to Ben's room.
If you want to investigate this room, you got to roll me that spot hidden.
Okay. Bring it on.
Looking around, you notice it's very neat. It's very orderly. There are a couple suitcases, one like duffel-sized bag and one larger, almost large bag. You see a very, a doctor's bag, like a very obvious doctor's bag. With engraved letters on the side, with a B and an A. It's a little battered, but well maintained. There's a notebook sitting by the bedside table with a pen resting on it. There's a box of shells sitting there. And you see a couple change of clothes, some nice clothes. That's it. It's a bedroom for a gentleman traveling.
She might go and just like peek a look at the notebook and maybe even peek just if his suitcases are open, peek through them and see if there's anything.
Peeking through the suitcases, they're not, they're just travel bags. He appears to have hidden some cash in like obvious, places where one might hide cash based on the bag. You can find some of that. Just like what a normal person would do as they're traveling.
And she would be trying to put everything back kind of exactly as she found it.
Okay. And then as you go and open that book, just roll me a straight intelligence check.
Oh, I have something for this, I think, too.
It's a spell book. be a spell book.
I do get a bonus die on straight intelligence.
All right, you're rolling with +1. Extreme success. You open this book and you recognize about 2 out of every 10 words. You recognize, you pick out individual words, and you get things like dates. What you're getting from it seems to be a diary, but it's a mix of languages. You're definitely sure that that's French, and that over there, well, that looks like the Russian that comes from with the priest's letters, and that's something else entirely, and that's Greek, and that whole section right there you couldn't even picture out. There are a bunch of little symbols that you don't know what they mean, but you're getting the impression just based on the way it's structured and the words you are getting that it's a diary.
Does she snatch it? She would like to look through it and just see kind of if she's at least recognizing the dates. Is there an entry from since he came to Four Corners or right before, and if there's anything on those entries that she recognizes, and then kind of flip all the way to the back to see if this is, how long he's been keeping this particular.
I mean, this particular journal that you're looking at, it's not full. It's about 3/4 of the way full. If you go to the beginning of the book, it goes back about a couple months. It looks like the gentleman. Looks like the gentleman diaries everything that he experiences every day. So there's descriptions of the bar fight. You can see pictures. You can pick out words about the bar fight, and that happened. There's a comment about, in English, that little jackass.
She laughs at that.
You don't even have to pay attention to know who that's about. But you do, and it's what you're getting is that it's his diary.
And I think she just kind of leaves it behind. And if there's kind of nothing, and if she doesn't hear anything out in the hall yet, she might take a few more minutes to kind of look under the mattress and in drawers and things and just make sure there's nothing that she's missing.
The floorboard that creaks every time you step on it.
That is in fact where she hid things in her house, so she would probably check that too.
Well, first of all, roll me a listen check.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna spend the 1 point.
You don't hear anybody on the stairs. You do start to hear a ruckus downstairs, and we're gonna cut back to Richard with that
What's up?
wonderful critical success on your spot hidden roll as the barman, Mr. Taggart, comes back into the bar. You notice him striding in. Well, the doctor and the priest are congenial and greeting him. You notice a couple things. Number one, that the gentleman seems to be limping and trying to hide it. Doing pretty well at it. You notice that there's a small, tiny cut on the side of his face. You also notice, looking out that door as he walks in, Genevieve Bradford standing in the doorway, glaring daggers at Mr. Taggart, sliding her gloves back on her hands. And she looks, sees you there, smiles a moment. Richard, darling, could I have a word with you? I'd really need your assistance.
I mean, you just got done kicking a man in the crotch, but okay.
Do you say that out loud?
No, that's in my mind. But I mean, that's what she did, right? She kicked him in the crotch and she slapped him across the face.
It's in his mind, but he says it out loud anyway.
I'll just...
Should slap him, should backhanded him. But yeah,
I think I'll can I leave the way that Taggart came in? Or, like, did he come in, like, through a back door that's, like, employees only, or...
No, he came in through a back door, but she's standing in that doorway.
Okay.
Calling.
So, I assume that I'll cross path with Taggart on my way out.
Yep.
As I cross path with him, I'll just whisper, I feel you, brother.
He just looks at you and goes, she's in a right bad mood.
So I can take a punch.
And he proceeds, Father, Doctor, how you doing? Richard, I need to have a conversation. Why don't you come over here for a minute?
Doing very well, Mr. Taggart. How about yourself?
It's been a day, you know? Things are recovering. I managed to get that window so we could fix Lady Goodnight's place.
Sure she'll be most pleased with that.
Well, she'll definitely be something. It's a window. It's a window.
There haven't been any more fights since the last one, have there?
Oh, no. Well, no, there was a couple of the a couple of the children were running around, apparently. Geraldine Marsden had closed the school, so they were running a little ragged in the world. There was apparently a fight over a ball. That's not a real big deal, is it, gentlemen? But drinks! I need to get you gentlemen drinks. And as he reaches down and picks up the bottle and starts pouring out for people at the bar, that's where we're going to go on our break, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. See you later, everyone. And we are back. Hi, everyone. So, where were we?
Well, apparently at the moment, Maisie's poking her nose into places she shouldn't be. The father and the doctor are engaging in some light afternoon drinking, day drinking at the bar. June is having a conversation with a very interesting gentleman at the jail. And Richard's been asked to have a conversation with his employer.
But before, looks like we're gonna spin again. Because Tagambit gave 500 bits again. Thank you very much, Tagambit.
No curses.
Let's try no curses. Let's go for something good. Let's go for something good. Let's go for Cthulhu appearing. And it's a curse.
Oh, no whammies, no whammies.
So, Tagambit, you decide. Do you remove all of our advantages except for the keeper who has 2? So she'd be at 1. Or do you lower her sanity by a d4? I'll let you decide. Type it in chat, and we'll keep going. So yeah, go see Genevieve.
As you walk out the door, she smiles very politely, closes the door behind you. Richard, darling, I need you to do me a favor. And I need you to make me a powers check at disadvantage.
Power is my best stat, y'all. I fail.
You do.
I fail hard.
You don't fumble, but you do fail hard.
Yep.
And that D4 for your sanity loss, sir, at the same time.
Yeah. I'm gonna update everyone before. Don't worry.
Richard, darling.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been talking to some folk in town, haven't you?
I did so, ma'am.
What they been saying about me?
I don't recall. I don't pay much attention to what they say, ma'am.
I need you to tell me exactly what they told you, Richard. In detail.
I figure because I failed, there's nothing I can do but to tell her that we think that she's like a cult leader.
You cannot. You have to tell her exactly what she asked. You have no way of saying anything otherwise.
We believe you're the head of a cult and you're poisoning people. And that you're using some sort of mind control magic to take control of all of us. And also, them tiny vampires living in your house. Them very tiny, and you can kind of try to kill them with a toothpick, but it's not going to work because they're made out of fire. Also, if you pour shit on a wound, it heals faster. But that's not part of discussions about you, ma'am. Have I missed something? Like, out of game, have I missed a detail? Anything you remember that could put us in more trouble? Oh,
Well,
here's a comprehensive list of all of our weaknesses.
It's all right, Richard. I already know all of your weaknesses. It's my job. And no, I don't lead a cult, honey. It's so gauche a town. But Richard, look at me, darling.
What?
I'm kind of need you to forget that we had this conversation. And I need you to forget you had any fear of me at all.
I'm
You're
not afraid.
wise. You're very helpful for me, Richard. But I need you to do one more thing for me.
What?
I need you to go with Mr. Billows and pick up a friend of mine might be coming into town. She answers to the name of Jeanette Lovelace, I believe she's calling herself.
I don't know who that, but alright.
She's coming in on the stage tonight. Once she does, I want you to escort her very kindly to me.
I just paid for a room upstairs.
You'll stay here tonight. She'll probably want to. In the morning, you'll bring her out to the ranch. And Richard?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember, next time you decide to fight me, put some effort into it. We didn't have this conversation, Richard.
I'm just a big idiot.
No, you're very useful just the way you are, darling. And she pats you on the shoulder, adjusts her gloves, and walks out through the other door to the street.
And I shiver. No.
Your choice on how you choose to do. She's left you alone.
Yeah, but I mean, so the control. I forgot the entire conversation, but did I also forget the fact that I think that she's mind controlling people?
You forgot the entire conversation. You know that other people think that she's mind controlling people, but you're very positive that that's not true.
Then there's no reason for me to sock her across the face.
Mm-mm.
Bye-bye, Genevieve. I'ma go back inside.
When you can catch up on the Zoom chat, everything's fine. You go back inside.
Everyone's angry at me.
God damn it, Richard.
If only Richard was better at life. Ugh.
I
If only
mean,
Damsir were here.
Wish that
Really?
bear had got him.
we're upstairs. We're going to pan back upstairs to Maisie now, however. Maisie, you said you wanted to sneak yourself, look under the floorboards, under the mattress.
Yeah, she wants to get all up in everything, and she actually is excited to hear a kerfuffle downstairs because that probably means no one's going to be coming up immediately.
You can definitely hear, it sounds like your Uncle Bruce is making his presence known behind the bar loudly and personably as he starts pouring round for the house. Apparently, I have not been able to entertain you folk well enough. I'm sorry I was not here. Why is nobody playing my piano? There should be music playing in my saloon. Let's go.
Is that pretty standard for Bruce, or is that a odd behavior of him?
I mean, the round on the house is a little odd, but the trying to get everybody in a good mood, that's very normal.
Forgive me, Mr. Taggart. I am fasting at the moment. I shall drink water.
And he leans over for you and goes, I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. It is a decision all of my own.
Man can't have a drink and man can't have bacon. I'm real sorry for you, sir. But, doctor, let me pour you something.
I'll have a beer, Mr. Taggart.
Beer for the gentleman. And he walks over and taps the keg, pulls out a beer.
I'm back.
Mr. Whitaker, what can I get you to drink, sir?
Give me some form of beer. I'm parched.
Beer we can do. Beer we can do. And he pulls out beers for both of you. Maisie, roll that investigation check as you're poking around where you shouldn't be.
Come on, Maisie.
Hold on. Wandering around my... So is it just a spot hidden then?
Yeah, spot hidden, sorry. Spot hidden. Hard success.
Hard success.
You're digging around under the mattress, under the floorboards. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot there. And then you put your hand down between the bed and the headboard. And it hits something hard and metal.
She... Is it, like, small enough to be pulling it out?
Well, you could definitely reach around and pull it out and do so. It seems like that's...
Yeah. So I think she would try and kind of finagle it to slide it out from between the bed and the headboard, whatever it is, and get a look at it.
Can you roll me a luck roll, please?
Uh-oh. That sounds ominous at best.
It's a bear trap.
Clink.
You don't cut your hand on as you pull out a very large sword.
Sword. Does it have like any like decoration or carving or
It's a very flat blade. Looks, I mean, you've seen a knife. You sharpen knives all the time. It seems to be well maintained and very sharp. You have a handle. It fits metal crossbars. Can fit one or two hands on it. It's heavy in your hand. Really heavy. It's not very long. Just about a little over 3 feet.
And
There's
she'll
2 edges on it.
And she'll just kind of burn the image of this into memory and slide it back because she doesn't want anybody to know that she's been here. And with that, she'll probably head out. I think she's decided that leaving the diary is safer than taking it with her. So... And she'll just kind of head out, gently close the door, you know, straighten herself up and walk back downstairs.
All right, easy to do. You come back downstairs. The father and the doctor are drinking, or excuse me, the father is drinking water. Mr. Whitaker and the doctor are drinking beer. Mr. Taggart is walking up and down the bar, engaging everybody that he sees.
And she'll start by, or she doesn't see Richard there anymore.
No, he's sitting at the bar. Richard's back.
Oh, he's back. Okay, so she'll just kind of walk up to him and be like, your room is ready upstairs, to kind of cover her own ass. And then try and catch the father or the doctor, both's attention, whoever is paying attention to her, and just kind of be like...
I'll give her the nod.
All right, we're gonna cut away. We're gonna wind the clock forward a couple hours as you're enjoying yourselves a little bit in the saloon. By this time, June has joined you all in the saloon. and y'all hear a sound pounding up the road. Horses. And the heavy rattle of a stagecoach. As the coach arrives in town.
I have something I need to do.
Everything all right, Richard?
Mrs. Bradford told me to... do I remember at least that part of the conversation? Okay.
Mm-hmm. You remember that she told you to do something.
Yeah.
To go escort her friend.
Miss Bradford wants me to escort Miss Lovelace back to the ranch.
I thought you were considering leaving her employment.
I've reconsidered. Miss Bradford is a gentle soul, and she wouldn't hurt a fly.
And upon hearing that,
can I roll on him?
Can I roll like psychology, just to kind of determine whether or not he's serious about this? What he's just saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Richard.
He is 100% serious that he reconsidered and that Mrs. Bradford is an entirely wonderful individual who cares significantly about all of her employees.
Ooh.
Richard, it was very pleasant spending some time with you, but I understand you have some things to do. Just be safe with your travels. And hoping we get to see you again when you come back, when you're done. Is that your plan, or are you going back to stay with Miss Bradford?
I might come back. I don't know, but I got a room here, so maybe I should.
Well, if you make it back to Four Corners, let us know.
All right.
I'll pray for you, Richard.
All right. Like,
Doctor,
Richard doesn't seem... Anyway, he doesn't feel like there's any danger.
Nope.
But he will spin the wheel to win.
Oh. Come on,
We got another donation with another curse.
More sanity. Really?
Well, they can decide to take away our advantage. That would be so much simpler. But that donation was anonymous, so I would still like to know in chat who.
You know who you are.
I'm gonna DM this one. I'm gonna DM overrule this one.
Okay.
The power that be.
We all just die.
You're gonna change the curse to something else?
I'm gonna change the curse to something else.
No problem.
I'm gonna invoke my authority as GM and interrupt this and say, I'm going to impose a disadvantage that I can call on each of you.
Sure.
But, Doctor, I need you to make me a listen check.
All right. How about an extreme success?
Oh, that's actually right good, Doctor. As you hear over the sounds of the horse and the saloon, the music and the partying going on, I'm sorry, I'm looking for my brother. Dr. Anders, have you seen him? This is my new friend, by the way. This is Jeanette Lovelace.
I'll turn my head once I hear that, and assuming that I see my sister as well as another person that's with her.
You see standing at the door of the saloon, but not actually inside. Like the door is cracked open. You can just hear this conversation.
Mhm.
2 women. Your sister, dressed in full mourning, long black, heavy gown, a hat, a veil, gloves, holding a small child in her arms, also in a small black dress. Young girl you haven't been introduced yet to. Then you see another woman. Well, what does your sister look like, father? Or doctor, excuse me, doctor.
Slightly smaller than the doctor. Same dark colored hair. Probably, I mean, 5'6", 5 or so. Just very, very similar to what the doctor appears to look like. Just
She's a small bit shorter than the woman standing next to her. That woman's taller. Also in full mourning, long black dress, heavier, slightly more amount of lace, a lot more involved. See a large brooch at her throat, also with a veil, holding the hand of a young boy that you do know, your nephew. And she has long, dark, curly hair that she's pulled back in a simple, intricate chignon at the back of her neck. Through the veil, you can just make out the color. Her eyes are lighter, not dark. And she's a very striking woman. This is a very, very pretty woman.
Just before we continue, thank you, not Father Makarov, for giving us sanity back. I don't know who you are, but thank you very much for this lovely donation. And we'll keep going.
What are you gonna do, Doctor?
immediately step away from the bar and call out to Isabel. Is that you, Isabel?
Oh, Drake! You need to come meet my friend.
Certainly. Just 1 second, and I'll turn back and introduce the father as well. Father, Maisie, please join me.
Well, June is also with you, guys.
Oh, June, that's right. June is back. So, June.
Yeah.
Everyone, this is my sister Isabel and her son and is this I'm assuming correspondence between me and Isabel is she's told me of her daughter. So
Yes, her daughter's 3 now. So yeah, you have not met her, but
Right.
but she's yes. Oh yes, this is. Dang it! I put the note away that I can't find her name.
That's a beautiful baby you got.
Yes, thank you. This is my daughter, and this is my. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's so kind of you. I really do. This is my friend, Mrs. Lovelace.
I've not had the pleasure here. Where did the two of you meet?
Oh, we actually met in the stage. Jeanette and we came up from Amarillo together. It's been a pleasant trip. She's been such a dear. I'll let her. So sorry.
It is a pleasure to meet you, ma'am. Dr. Anders has spoken well about you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Father. And she just kind of has this like very precise, very perfect curtsy that doesn't even seem to move the sleeping child that she's holding. As she continues to go through, you see she turns to Mrs. Lovelace. Well, good evening, Cher. I apologize. I'm looking for I'm looking for two people, a friend of mine. My dear friend, Mrs. Genevieve Bradford. Well, I'm going to be staying with her, but I'm also looking for I need to inform my cousin about the passing of my husband. They were such good friends. I'm sure that he wanted to know. Do you know where I can find a Mr. Deputy George Brooke?
And at this, I think Maisie kind of wanders over into the conversation.
George has been, how do you say it, Dr. Anders, sleeping for a while?
There was an incident, and George is currently under my care.
Oh, I should... Isabel, I'm so sorry. I really should go make sure I check on him. Did he do something foolish again?
Actually, no. He was doing something quite brave.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to rest right now. I know he's had doctors and people coming in and out all day.
Well, I just want to make sure he's okay. It's been... Honestly... could one of you please point me in the right direction, honey?
I feel like we could escort you.
I appreciate that so kindly. I haven't been introduced. My name is Jeanette Lovelace.
June had no idea what the proper protocols of these things is because girl grew up in the West, just like okay.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Miss Lovelace.
I know where George is staying. I'm happy to come with you in June to check in on him. I actually haven't been there to visit today, so it'd be good for me to go check in too.
You have... I'm thinking he must have written about you at some point, but would you be Miss Maisie Coldwater?
Yeah, that's me, ma'am. It's nice to meet you. I'm surprised that George would have written about me, but
George writes about everybody that he meets. It's a pleasure and a kindness of my life.
What was her name?
Jeanette Lovelace.
And George wrote about Jeanette Lovelace?
No,
Yep.
Wait,
He wrote to his cousin, Jeanette Lovelace.
about Maisie.
Yeah,
Okay,
he did.
I thought Jeanette was the doctor's cousin. Ooh, I was lost for a second. Okay, that
No.
clears everything up in my mind.
No, Jeanette, the doctor's sister, Isabel, arrived on the stage and introduced her very dear new friend, a woman who speaks with a very New Orleans accent.
Okay.
And it introduces herself as Mrs. Jeanette Lovelace, who wishes to inform her cousin about the passing of her husband.
Good.
So, Dr. Isabel turns to you and says, Drake, is there somewhere we can just... the children, they're very tired. It's been a very long day. Can we go just...
Certainly. And I'll hand her my office key and let her know that there's quarters there, my quarters that she could stay in.
And she looks at you and just gives you this sister look of like, Drake, I appreciate the key. Where am I going?
Sorry, my apologies. It's been quite the day. Step outside and down the road, to your right, about 3 buildings down.
Doctor,
My
I
back
could
door.
show her where it is. It is no trouble.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. I appreciate it. Honestly, Drake. I bet you haven't even cleaned up the place yet either, have you? And she just starts walking down the street.
I shall go with her.
Well, it would be my cousin. I do need to speak with George. His, want to make sure he's all right.
I do not know if he is awake right now, but I will take you to him.
Well, you're going with Jeanette.
Wait, wrong person. Sorry. Sorry, somebody else speak.
I can take you to the deputy.
I believe Maisie and June were taking her.
Yeah, I'd feel a bit weird.
That's better. Right now I don't trust Richard to take anyone anywhere, so.
Well, I don't trust you either, Doctor.
Out of character.
Nope. Totally said it's canon. I don't trust you, Richard.
Yeah, so June, without much of a word, is just going to start escorting Miss Lovelace to her cousin. There's so many red flags here for June. She's skeptical at best.
I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine.
So you walk yourselves. Father is going to take Isabel and the children to the doctor's office and get them settled there. The other 4 of you are going to go with Mrs. Lovelace to the jail. As you do so, she's...
And Maisie, watch this woman while they're walking and see if she can get a read on her.
You want to go ahead and roll that psychology
Yes,
check?
please.
You want to burn the 4 points?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's burn the 4 luck points. Hard success.
There's something about the way she talks. She definitely knows George. She definitely knows all of you. Or talks like she knows all of you. But the accent to your ear is just a little off.
Like she's faking the location that she's from?
Possibly. But it's not bad off, like really, really close.
Okay.
I know. That's all I'm gonna say.
Apparently you do, because you've been mouthing it for the past 2 minutes. Sorry. As you walk up the stairs, she turns to you and, like, just kind of holds a hand. Well, you said he was being rather brave. What was he being brave with? Is he all right?
He was just out out dealing with something with his job, obviously, out in the desert, and got trapped up in the mines during a mining accident.
Oh, well, glad he was there to help people. It sounds like he was right. George always did do what was right. Maybe not always what was smart, but what was right.
He's a very good man, but Yeah, if you come on in, we'll have to be careful not to jostle him too much, but I've been here enough times with the doc that I think it's good for me to check on him so I can report back too.
Oh, yes. As you walk in, the candle's still lit by the bed, but there's no one else except George in here. Again, his shirt has been removed so that they could put so that Dr. Adams can put the bandages on him. Very obvious that he's healing a whole lot better. He also, there's a stool next to his bed. As you come in, Jeanette walks immediately, striding kind of purposely over to him and goes and puts a hand on his arm that isn't bandaged and just kind of leans over him and like puts her hand on the back of his, like this, testing for fever, seeing how he's doing. Oh, really, George, you didn't... I worry about you sometimes.
Tentacles! I don't know. He's in a coma, so.
Yep.
Yep. Jude is watching very intently. She doesn't. She has suspicions about this person, and she feels guilty about leaving George alone. So.
And I think Maisie would move very, very purposefully, sit like across from this woman, like within reach, and just try to make conversation. She's like, "So, when was the last time you got to see George? He's only been here for a few months."
Well, he stopped by on the way out to Four Corners. It was right about the time that we lost my brother Joshua, unfortunately.
Since the post goes through the general store,
Yep.
would Maisie know if George was sending letters to someone with the last name of Lovelace?
Would you like to roll me a history check? Or
Sure.
No, straight intelligence. No history. Straight intelligence.
While Maisie rolls...
Straight intelligence?
Mhm.
Hold on. Is that what we went with? Because I get an extra die. So it's an important distinction.
What I heard.
I had a question. When you said, Maisie, that you were sitting across from her, does that mean that you would sit on George's bed?
Because there's only the one stool.
Oh. So she would probably be taking up a place on the the other side of George.
It's like, yeah, there's the bed and there's a stool. And there's no one if you're across the bed from her, if you're sitting down, you're sitting on the bed. Because there's only the one stool in the room.
No, I don't think Maisie would be that ballsy.
Forward.
Yeah. So I guess she would probably just kind of stand next to her.
Okay.
Just checking.
You don't recall any letters going through with the last name Lovelace.
And Maisie would just say, so as you can see, he's not really in a position to chat right now, but, maybe we can come back tomorrow and I can get you set up downstairs. My uncle owns the saloon, and I imagine that's probably where you're going to spend the night tonight, or?
Yes, I'm gonna then go out to my dear friend Genevieve, and we're gonna spend some time with her.
Oh, Genevieve.
But I just want to sit with him for a while, if that's okay with you all. I understand that it might be.
Psychology roll, please.
All right. Okay.
Who is all right now with the Miss Lovelace?
Well, Maisie and June and unconscious George.
Right.
And you said you were coming up. Have you walked in yet?
Bye,
Yes.
George.
And if upon hearing that request, as George's physician, I would adamantly have to disagree with that. And I'll say that to Miss Lovelace, just is George's physician right now. I'm the one that's primarily been taking care of your cousin. I don't think that's a very good thing for his treatment.
The doc has been keeping us having very, very limited visits so that George can get complete rest. I think we've probably already stayed too long. Ain't that right, Doc?
I agree, Miss Coldwater. Your cousin has suffered very many burns across his body and had suffered quite a bit of shock as a result. Right now, rest and recovery is all we can give him. And I think isolation with minor involvement is best for him.
Based on that psychology roll, June, you notice that she is frustrated.
And I will have June escort your ass out of here.
Yeah. She's been watching this entire encounter again, always kind of from the walls, just watching as she does, and as she sees that little hint of frustration. I'm sure that you could check up on him a little later.
I'm quite sure you're right.
I do understand that.
And she's just gonna say, "Oh, I'll just say goodnight." And she leans over.
No.
She leans over, goes to put her goes to kiss him on the side of the forehead.
Tackle her.
Do you do anything to stop her, or do you? And
Maisie is standing next to her, and I think Maisie would put a hand on her shoulder with not like pushing her, but with a degree of firmness, and just say, "We can't risk any infection. You understand?"
Oh, I understand. I'm just gonna say goodnight.
I really can't
And
risk any.
She's just gonna, "Oh, darling, it's fine." And she leans over. Do any of you speak French other than George?
No, I do not speak French.
No, but I would make the argument that Maisie is good at figuring out languages, given how successful she has been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So if she can't tell exactly what she's saying, she could probably at least remember it well enough.
Okay.
Or get a gist, something like that. I don't know.
You roll me a luck roll. Simon, open George and have him roll me a luck roll.
Can I use my advantage on this?
You can.
If I listen really, really hard, I speak Latin. Can I hear it from across town?
I speak Latin, but I'm pretty sure Latin's not anywhere near French.
It's actually very close.
It's a very close. It's very close.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Romance language. Okay.
I fumbled because I'm in a coma.
Attaboy, George.
Do you not?
Attaboy.
Oh,
You feel listening so hard you've gone deaf.
300. Thank you.
Didn't you roll that? Did you say you were rolling it with using the advantage for it?
Not myself.
I thought.
I did.
You did. Okay. Okay.
I did. That's why I went from a fail to a hard success, and why there was a fist pump involved.
I'll roll let me roll my Latin check.
Roll your.
Oh, and I failed miserably.
You failed.
It's with my advantage.
You do hear this, Maisie, and you're not sure what she said. You're very, you can remember it, and you're definitely aware that you could, if you find somebody who speaks multiple languages that could possibly tell you what it means, recall it well enough to actually get a exact translation. But you're pretty sure
Out of game, I want to know what she says.
I know you do. But you're pretty sure you're a woman, and you've lived long enough, and you're pretty sure that the tone of voice that she uses when she whispers into her dear cousin's ear is, "Oh, bless your soul, honey." And she seems frustrated. Have a good rest, George. I'll be back in the morning to check on you. Make sure you're doing all right. Well, Well, madame, let's find us someplace. I really do need to retire. It's been such a long, long journey.
I imagine that Richard or one of the Bradford's other hands will come by and help bring you out. It's quite a long journey, though, so maybe we want to go find a place to sit, a quiet moment.
Yes, where is there someplace quiet in this town?
Well, it's always surprising that the saloon itself is not pretty quiet, but the restaurant attached at this time of day might be a good place.
All right, then, let's go get ourselves a table. George, really, I'll be back and we'll talk about this. And I understand you're unconscious, but I'm still going to talk to you because that's what people do, right? Right, doctor? You talk to people like that?
It's practiced quite well. I'm sure there are studies to be done, but I'm sure it couldn't hurt.
And while we walk...
Roll me one more luck roll.
For who?
George.
Oh, me. Oh, my bad.
George.
Because I was going to... can I add a thing to the scene?
What would you like to add?
When Maisie and Miss Lovelace leave his room, I would like George's hand to like twitch in the direction of Maisie.
Aww.
Do I have to? I roll up.
No, there's no luck roll for that. That you can do no matter what. But the luck roll is for something else.
That's another fumble. I rolled exactly the same number.
I want to see something. This is purely for me. Roll it again.
No. It's not cursed.
It's just for me. It's fine. So, the rest of you escort Mrs. Lovelace to the dining room. Maisie's escorting Mrs. Lovelace to the dining room. June, what are you doing?
Cleaning her gun.
She doesn't like this at all. She'll escort the two of them to the doors of the saloon, and then she's going to excuse herself.
The doctor, So you're...
So is everybody's stepping out? They're escorting Miss Lovelace. I'm sticking around with George. Just since I'm there, I want to go ahead and check George's vitals and bandages and just make sure that, whatever Dr. Adams had done, I mean, assuming, everything was up to par, just checking in on George and seeing how he is.
Roll that medicine check. Ooh.
Hard success.
Hey, George.
Yep.
Roll yourself a d10.
Right. Let's see how that goes. Pray for me, Father. And work your medicine, Doctor. I got a 3. I'm at 15 now.
+2.
I'm at 17 now. Out of 31. I'd be like slightly above halfway.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I figure I don't have a major wound anymore.
No, you don't. You do not. You see, Doctor, as you look at this, the burns are healing well, really well.
Abnormally well.
Better than what you're used to, but not off track of what they should be.
Is George a vampire now?
No, George is not a vampire now.
Werewolf?
Nope.
Werecougar?
Nope.
Was anything left over for Mr. Adams? So I'm assuming, did he apply something to George, or okay?
As you're looking at it, you look at it. The bandages themselves seem to have been soaked in something. Then you smell it, and it smells minty. There's a slight sheen off of whatever it is. You rub. You can feel it still in your hands as you do. It's not quite oily, but slick.
Okay.
He's obviously been treating him well.
The eucalyptus and mint.
Possibly, in a combination, possibly of something else. You also see that stitching that he did. Well, you did the stitching in his shoulder to pull the knife out, and that seems to be healing much faster than you're expecting.
I'll be damned. What are you up to, Ben? And I'm just even more intrigued about not so much Adams as a person, just as a physician.
The Hawkeye moment in MASH.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I take
as
a
you-
martini.
In your bathrobe, it's fine.
Yep.
As long as George gets to be Klinger, we're good.
No, I don't think George is Klinger.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. As the ladies escort Mrs. Lovelace to the restaurant, Mr. Whitaker, what are you doing?
I have to bring Miss Lovelace back to the ranch, so I'm gonna go see Miss Lovelace. She's with Father Makarov, right?
No, Mrs. Lovelace is with Maisie.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm sorry. Oof, names. So he'll go to Maisie and Miss Lovelace and say, I'm sorry, but I need to bring you to see Miss Bradford.
Oh, you're one of Miss Genevieve's and my dear friend Genevieve, her employees?
Yep, that me.
Yeah, Richard's been working there for a long time now.
I have, for a couple months. Now, if you don't mind coming with me.
One moment. Ladies, I'm sure this is a pleasure. I'm going to talk to Mr. Whitaker for a second and possibly find out something else.
Oh, you take all the time you need. I'm just gonna go stand right over here and catch up with June, because it's been a while since we've gotten to spend some time together either.
She will. She'll. And she moves very gracefully. This woman is used to being the center of attention anywhere she goes, and using everything that she has to make sure that she's the center of attention. And she'll turn to George. Or not George, Richard.
Names.
Kind of got the gist of it.
Teleports to George's room. Looks at him.
I told you we weren't done.
No. She'll start walking a little bit, and she'll turn to you and say, I know that Genevieve had asked you to escort me out to the ranch, but it's a while. You think I might recline here and we'll go out in the morning?
I don't know what to do about that. She told me to escort you ASAP, but she didn't say anything about the time of day that I needed to bring you to the ranch, so I figure you can stay here for a night.
You're very kind. I do appreciate it.
Yep.
I just need to check on my cousin and make sure he's doing well.
That cousin, the deputy?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard he got into a big fire.
Well, the ladies were telling me that he got into an accident at the mine. This being heroic.
Fire, from what I understood, is what burned him. Probably an explosion at the mines, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, it does seem to be taken well care of. Thank you. Mr. Whitaker, was it?
You can call me Richard.
Richard.
Yeah, we're not close enough for you to call me Dick.
Oh, I wouldn't call you that anyways.
That's
That
good.
just seemed rude.
It's what my father called me.
Oh, honey, I'm definitely not your daddy.
And Richard becomes confused. I think he's gonna stand motionless in the middle of the street.
As she turns
Just
and walks
blinks.
back. She turns and she saunters away from you. And just kind of glances over her shoulder and does a little wave back at you as she walks over to Maisie and June. I believe we had dinner plans today, ladies.
Briefly, while that conversation was going on, Maisie wanted to tell June about the distinct lack of letters.
Okay, we can definitely wind the clock back so that you can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as she leaves, June just kind of leans back on the wall. I have an interesting feeling about that one.
I think interesting is a gentle word for my feelings. I see every letter that comes in and out of this town. None of them went out from George to anyone with the last name of Lovelace.
And much as she puts on those smiles, she was a little frustrated at not being able to talk, or whatever she was going to whisper.
Yeah, I don't, her tone of voice then and her accent all the time were definitely a little off to me. June, I'm worried about George staying in there all by himself. I mean, we can lock the door, but given everything that's going on around here, I don't know if I feel safe just leaving him by himself.
I know the doc's with him right now, but until he recovers, I don't think he should be by himself at all. If she really is, how to say, dear friend, like she says it, she has to affirm it every single time she says it, to Miss Bradford. And if the phrase is still a possibility, I'm feeling like, well, you may call me a little skeptical or thinking it a bit too much. But thinking there's a little more of a connection between whatever she was going to whisper to him and whatever is going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she said what she was planning to say. But I know what she said, and I'm sure I can find somebody to help translate that French for me.
Well, we have a certain doctor in town that seems to know quite a bit.
I can attest that he knows quite a few languages based on the diary back up in his room.
Ah, so you did find something.
Yeah, I didn't feel comfortable just taking the thing. He's written it in so many different languages, clearly trying to make sure nobody else can read it. And the very, very large sword behind his bed was not something you usually see either.
Yeah, there's definitely like an eyebrow quirk at that. First, some guns and now a sword, huh? Well, Four Corners certainly got interesting in the, 48 hours I was out? Just keep an eye
You're
on
muted.
them.
I'm a professional. And at that, Mrs. Lovelace walks up and says, well, where can I definitely find something to eat in this town? The stage is not conducive to supporting one's appetite.
Let's take you to the dining room like we had planned. I'm sure if Mr. Taggart can't come up with something, I can always sneak around the back and deal with it myself. I practically grew up in his joint.
I'm sure you did. But you need to tell me everything that's going on in this town. It sounds like you are the people to know.
I don't think so. I mean, Miss June is wonderful and obviously a shining beacon here. Myself, I mean, I'm just run the store. I mean, I grew up here, so I know everybody's ins and outs, but it's just town gossip.
Well, I'm sure I'll be finding out all about it as I make myself at home here for the time being. And at that, we're going to end it for tonight.
Tense. Everything is tense.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I really want to shank this person.
I mean, I don't know how many people we've asked for June to shoot tonight. That
Basically everybody.
She hasn't shot anybody.
Right.
She hasn't shot anybody yet.
Haven't fired a gun in
flags.
4 episodes.
Yep.
There's a lot of people in this town that Maisie has been like suspicious of at one point or another, but there's nobody who's really been like, you're a problem until now.
Yeah.
And if it's who I think it is, it's going to be a problem. But it's going to be a very interesting problem.
All the problems are interesting.
Yep.
You know,
On that note,
wouldn't want
let's
to
do...
give everything away.
Yep. Let's do outros. We'll start with our keeper, and we'll go reverse order from earlier.
Hello all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlin on Twitter, and Praxagorth Thesmophoria is you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. I'm usually here on Saturday evenings, and you can see me as the driving these fine folk mad. Sunday, I'm going to be over on Soul Bear RPG for playing my Fey Bard, Eleanor. If you saw on Twitter, I reposted the art that we got for that. It is gorgeous. I love it. And there's a black dragon that someone
You're pointing the wrong way. Wait, yeah. Anyway.
Someone well, yeah, apparently there's a black dragon involved now. And then Monday night, I'm back here, and Simon's in charge. And there's a dragon there, too. Apparently, like, all the dragons.
You guys didn't figure out that you found a dragon at the bottom of a dungeon?
No, I did. I laughed about it. It was hilarious, and I loved it. I found a dragon in the bottom of a dungeon inside a D12.
Yep.
I win D&D.
Because this is what D12s are for, to be used as props for dragon eggs.
The dodecahedron dragon egg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And but yeah, and one last thing, if you haven't seen it yet, March 12th, that is a week from now, or
10 days.
11 days, 10 days from now, the Uncaged anthology goes live on the DM's Guild, and someone may have written one in volume 1. It's fun. Come hang out. And that's me.
Cool.
Highly recommend. I've gotten to read a huge portion of it at this point.
Nice.
So, very good.
And, all right. Well, Maisie, or should I say, Kelly.
Hello. So I'm Kelly at @KellyLane on Twitter. Obviously, you can find me here Saturdays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you can find me over on Scroticus Academy. Tuesdays playing Curse of Strahd. Things are getting dicey. We will be meeting Strahd before the end of this season, which I think is only 4 episodes left. So, Wednesday, I play on that same channel, playing Dynama, which is a Weave game, a playset written by our DM, Renee, of Fate and the Fable Maidens fame. We had every week that show just gets better and better. It's real fun. I highly recommend checking it out. For my full schedule, you can see the pinned tweet on my Twitter, which I actually need to update for the month of March. But yeah, that's me. I gotta echo Deirdre, you've got just a few more days until the first volume of Uncaged comes out. I worked on editing the volume, so I've gotten to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and it's not only is it a great group of people that you're supporting, it's also great work, and it's a beautiful document. Like, I've just seen the PDFs, and it's really well put together. It's very pretty. So highly recommend.
What is it?
Okay.
Uncaged is an anthology of D&D adventures, and they're all just... Go ahead, dude.
Uncaged is an anthology of D&D adventures, all looking at feminist reimaginings of female monsters in the Monster Manual. There will be 4 volumes, 120 authors, 100 and something artists. The current count on this volume 1 is 295 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
And there's also a big group of people editing it, and the adventures. There's a heavy population, not a sole population, but a heavy population of women and non-binary folks that helped write adventures. So.
It's a really good piece of work. It's really supportive. Also be on the lookout. I officially can't say anything yet, but I'm on another committee as part of the Uncaged, and more things are coming with that. We'll see what happens.
Yep. I got to play in one of these adventures, and it was it was pretty fun to have a different twist on a known story.
Thank you for that, by the way.
I died, but yep.
You didn't die.
Yeah, I felt like anyway. Fell unconscious for an extended period of time. Scott, who are you? What do you have going on in your life?
I'm Scott, Berserker Rage on Twitter, and right now you can find me here Saturday evenings on the lovely Wandering DM channel. Always out there looking for more things to do, but mainly right now, just trying to get back into streaming and getting things set up to do that.
All right, Kiana.
Oh man, I miss this game. And I'm always sad that I can only be here every other week anyways, so
Yeah, you're basically just gonna get us killed, it's fine.
Y'all need to learn how to fucking fight.
Don't blame her.
100%.
Yeah, I think I got asked to shoot all the NPCs that we saw today, plus one of the party members.
Yes.
You were not asked. There was one NPC you were not asked to shoot.
The little kid
The
behind the
sister.
bar.
The
No,
sister.
there are two. There are two. You weren't asked to shoot the sister, and you were not asked to shoot the kid at the bar.
True. Those are the only ones.
Yeah,
Everyone
okay,
else
sure.
was fair game. So, yeah, we'll see. This episode, it could be just called Red Flags for June all around. She hates this, thanks. But yeah, super, super fun. But until next time I'm around here, you guys can find me over on Twitter at KennaS. Best way to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm over the internet, playing role-playing games almost every day of the week. But I'm going to plug a little bit of a different thing. I am part of a zine called the Antho Anthology. It's basically a collection of stories and illustrations and comics by Asian American creators, all to tell different stories of the Asian American experience. I got the pleasure to be part of their process and write a short essay for them. And the Kickstarter is going live tomorrow to have a print run, and we're super hyped for that. So I'll be plugging that on Twitter and also out this month. So definitely check it out. It's been super awesome. Yeah. Cannot wait for next episode, and please don't get yourselves killed, guys. Please.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
No promises.
I'm sure we'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
So, Deirdre, should I roll a new character now or wait?
Hey, Quentin, what do you have going on in your life aside from rolling a new character?
Yeah, I'm not near as cool as the ladies and gentlemen all around me doing all sorts of stuff on the internet, but you can find me here whenever Simon asks me to play. Currently, it's just this, which I have a great time with. Deirdre, like, it's an amazing game. I love it. I love being restricted by being a priest and not like an evil person or want to shoot everybody. So yeah, my Twitter handle's @Thragon, and all I do, I just like retweet everybody who I follow, which is just these guys and other people that they tell me to follow. So follow them, and then get your friends to follow one of these guys again, and then like and retweet their stuff.
That works. And I'm Simon @WanderingDM. Hey, this is my channel. I hope you guys had fun. Those of you that stayed in chat to hang out and talk and spin the wheel of fate and giveth and taketh away our sanity over the course of the night. I am eagerly awaiting next week's episode. Yeah, like Deirdre said, we'll be back. I won't be on Saturday tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday for Dark Matter. Thank you very much, Dale and Kelly, for the 100 bits. Yeah, we'll be back on Monday for Dark Matter. And let's try to keep sane for the coming week. Ciao, everyone.